Good morning. Well, you know what day it is? It's hump day. Mike. So, what happened? I got a great response from my video yesterday. Thank you very much. So, when we're frustrated, when you're going for something and you've been working on it and working on it and working on it, and you're frustrated and you can't get there, what are some of the things to think about? So, first of all, we always give you the opinion. Don't ever give up on what it is that you want to accomplish. But that doesn't mean you keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. So if you're doing the same thing and you're not getting the results that you want, it's time to change your approach. Working out is a great example of this. If you want to build your bicep muscle, what what curl from 0 to 10 is the one that's going to build your muscle? It's number 11. You got to do more in order to build. So when you're working out, if you keep doing the same workout, you're going to stay in the same level of shape. And in fact, if you keep doing the same thing all the time, eventually you're going to go backwards. You have to keep progressing to the next thing. So if it's lifting weights, you got to add weights or add repetitions or change up what you're supposed to be doing. You can't do the same thing expecting a different result. So, number one thing, if you're getting frustrated and you've been working on something for a considerable period of time, it's probably time to change your approach. Number two, what's a great way to think about how to do that? Model. Find somebody else who's created the result and then do what they do. That's not a guaranteed outcome. It's an almost guaranteed outcome. Because for things like losing weight, what they did might not necessarily work. For things like making money, what they did may or may not necessarily work. Now, there's certain fundamentals that will work great every time, no matter what. So we know that, like, in order to gain financial independence, the basic steps are always the same. But when you start getting into details, some of those steps, you might need to adapt. The world might have changed, your body might be different. So know that you're going to have to change your approach as you go. Secondly, there's going to be plateaus. There are always going to be plateaus, and that's the difference between a master and a dabbler. A dabbler starts something new, and when you start something new, you progress at it very quickly, whatever it is, because you haven't ever done it. So then your ability to increase your output, your outcome, and how well you do the thing goes very rapidly. You accelerate very rapidly, but then you're going to plateau. And the dabbler, when they plateau, they move on to the next thing. They're like, okay, well, that was fun. And then they go do the next deal. The master figures out how to break through the plateaus. And when you start, you grow like this, then you plateau, and then you actually kind of go down a little bit. You get a little worse. Golf is a great example of this. Whenever you decide to change your golf game or increase how well you play, decreasing your score, one of the phrases you hear in golf is you got to get worse in order to get better. And that's because when you change your swing, at first, it's not going to go well. Your scores are going to get way worse. You got to anticipate and know that that's going to happen before it starts to click in and you start to get better. So if you're, on your way to financial success, if you're on your way to creating the body of your dreams, you are going to plateau. Plateaus will happen. So when they do happen, anticipate them. Go, okay, this is a plateau. So now I got to figure out how to break through and do the next thing. When you do plateau, it's almost always time to do something different. It's almost always time to change your approach in some fashion. And that's where modeling comes into play. The last thing is, a lot of times what you need to do can be counterintuitive. It can be actually the thing that you don't think you should do that ends up being what you need to do. That's not always the case, but the point is to just consider that which you normally wouldn't consider. Let me give you an example. Losing weight. So you go on a new eating plan and you're following it perfectly. You're tracking your calories and your macros and you're doing all the stuff and you're eating everything right and you're exercising and you lose some weight and you lose some weight and you lose some weight and all of a sudden you go 2, 3, even 4 weeks and the scale doesn't move. And you're like, come on. losing weight is a basic process. It's calorie deficit. You take in less calories than you burn, and I'm doing that. Sometimes what your body needs is it needs a day off or two, and it needs you to go have a cheat day. You know, in the periods of my life where I've decided to lose weight, a lot of times I can go several days or even weeks without the scale moving. And then if I go have a cheat day where I just, where I eat whatever for at least one meal or maybe for the whole day, all of a sudden the scale starts to move. Your body's hanging on, and it needs a reason to let go. And when you do the cheat day, then it lets go. But that can be true with lots of things. That can be true with a lot of stuff where ultimately the solution to break through your plateau was to find something that you really didn't think you were supposed to do, that didn't seem to logically make sense as the way to go. So, three things for today when it comes to being frustrated. Remember, when you're frustrated, you're going to have a breakthrough, and frustrations are going to happen. So, don't sit there and go, "Oh, I don't ever want to be frustrated for the rest of my life." Well, that's not realistic. When frustrations show up, then be like, "Okay, I'm not going to be frustrated for long because I know these things. Number one, I know I'm going to get that outcome. So when I get frustrated, I know I'm getting ready to figure out my breakthrough. Number two, I know on my growth pattern, there's going to be plateaus. There are always going to be plateaus. And that's a sign to me, because I'm frustrated, I'm not getting any closer, that I probably need to change my approach. So I'm going to model, I'm going to find other people who've created the result, read books, watch videos, do whatever. But as I'm looking at different ways in order to approach this, I'm also going to consider number three, which is maybe what I need to do is the exact thing that doesn't make any sense to me, that I don't think I should do. Maybe that's exactly what I need to do. Because a lot of times that's how it works out. You do the thing that doesn't make any sense, and the next thing you know, you're even closer to your result. So, welcome to plateaus. If you're going to master something, plateaus will happen, and they will frustrate you, and then they're going to be a perfect opportunity for a breakthrough and go to the next level. And by the way, when you do figure that out, share the knowledge. Each one teach one. Share the knowledge with other people, pass it on, do videos, write a book, do whatever. Pass on your knowledge that you've gotten so that somebody else can benefit from it when you've figured out how to do it. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.